All right, let me hit trans. Oh, wait a minute. You're not in this video.
Nobody asked.
There we go.
Nobody asked to listen to that.
I know. Sorry. I usually have my headphones on, but
Fucking rude.
welcome to Jeremiah Creek. I am Dave Haynes right here, and that's Paul Garlington.
I can't believe
right
that
there.
little thing can catch both of us in the same frame.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
And those two guys.
Yeah, that's all the wanted criminals in the background.
All right, so right off the bat, we were like talking about something before.
Okay.
So there's two things. There was the phone autocorrect thing,
Yeah.
and my car. So let's
Okay.
start with the quicker one first. The autocorrect thing,
Yeah.
'Cause
It's
you're-
driving me nuts.
because you talk about how you
Okay,
type.
so everybody texts. No one sends emails. No one calls. No one writes letters anymore, Dave. Everyone texts.
I know.
So I'm texting people all the time, and I swear to God, I spend more time correcting my text than I do actually texting. It's harder to type a word, and then I have to retype it like 4 times because autocorrect keeps changing it.
But when like on mine, when you type out a word, it gives you like the choices of what it's going to autocorrect. Does yours do that?
I mean, maybe.
Because once you
All right,
once,
I'm going to text you right now.
once you hit the word that you want it to be, the next time it'll automatically give you that word. Like for mine, I don't know why. When I bought this phone, you couldn't swear. It would autocorrect to not swear words or whatever, and then you had to like pick the swear word the one time.
See, now I'm trying to do it, and it won't work.
Yeah.
But I can't make a mistake.
I have a question. I have a question about my phone. I love my phone, right?
Weird
But
fucking phone.
the one thing is that it has this case. I bought this case, and it's great, very protective and everything. But I have a hard time if my phone is folded, and because my fingers are so fucking giant, of hitting anything on the
Humble brag.
right side of the keyboard. So like if I try to hit a 1, it'll automatically hit 2. It won't hit the 1 because of this
You know what you need?
this little frame right here.
You know what we need to invent?
This little frame.
Finger caps. So it's a cap that goes on your finger that just makes it a smaller finger. On
That's
the
a
end.
good idea.
Yeah.
Good
You
idea.
just wear it on the end of your finger, and then you can text.
And if you want, you can hit a little button and it'll start vibrating. But
I mean, that's for a different purpose. That's for a different usage.
Hey, multitasking.
Multitasking.
But anyway, so my question is this: I love this phone, but this phone is $1,800. Right?
Good
I'm
God.
terrified of breaking this phone. So I bought this hardened case, and I like the case.
Is it an Otter case?
What?
Is the brand Otter?
No, it's not an Otter case. The Otter case was too big; it wouldn't fit in any of my car holders. So, but my question is this: these things are supposed to be built nowadays with Gorilla Glass so that they don't break if you drop them.
Yeah.
And should I not use the case and take the chance and being able to use it?
Is it insured?
Yeah, it's insured, but there's always deductible.
Make your life easier.
Yeah,
You know what? No, don't. How often do you crack your phone screens?
I personally have not cracked the phone screen.
Okay, I want to stop you right there,
Years.
and we're going to go on a tangent, all right?
My kids, however,
When you say I personally, what are you inferring? That there are times when you speak impersonally?
that there are other persons that I pay for that are cracking their screens off.
I know, but if you just say I, you don't have to say personally because it implies that you're talking about yourself and not... Sorry, it's a word thing. It makes me nuts. It's like period of time. I want to punch everybody that does it.
It's like literally when you're not talking literally.
Literally, I can let go.
I
even though
literally flew to the moon.
even though it's figuratively, I can let literally,
I literally
go.
flew off the handle.
I literally don't care if you say literally. I don't care.
That drives me to, or concerning. That
But
drives me to.
concerning is, it's just or I was impacted by that. Oh, you son of a bitch. 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I want to kick somebody's ass if they say that.
Oh God, yeah.
All right? Period of time, though. For some reason, that phrase, some guys want to defend their mother's honor. Other people want to fight you if you say something bad about America. For me, it's period of time. Or in print, if you don't use the Oxford comma, because Jesus fucking Christ, what kind of a child are you?
What's the Oxford comma?
The Oxford comma is when you use a comma after, like, let's say there's three things in a row. Like you say, red, blue, and green. Some people use it so it's red, comma, blue, and green. But that's incorrect.
Right.
It's red, comma, blue, comma, and green. And that second comma is the Oxford comma.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Oxford
All right.
determined that that's the better way to communicate because it is.
You know, I always, for some reason, that's a thing that when I'm writing, I do. And
It's a natural thing.
I catch it. Yeah, whatever. It was drilled into me as a kid. I don't remember why. Well, one thing that I notice that always drives me nuts is people putting punctuation outside of quotation marks. That drives.
Yeah, I mean, there is a reason why you do that, but even that reason's not good enough to do it.
Or,
Like, there's a rule, but fuck that rule, because it looks stupid every single time.
or putting punctuation outside of parentheses, which means you ended a sentence with a parentheses, which you can't speak parenthetically and finish a thought.
Okay, that sometimes you have to put.
I
Sometimes you
suppose
have to
sometimes-
put the period on the outside if it's actually parenthetical within a thought. So if you have a sentence going on and then within that sentence you finish with a parenthetical thought, then you do put the period on the outside of the parentheses.
Right. I understand why you're supposed to do it. It drives me nuts because I don't think you're supposed to finish a sentence with a parenthetical thought.
It is poor writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so that was our phone thing. I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
But
AutoConnect
I was going to tell you about my car.
ducks.
I was telling you about my car before we
I
started.
can't.
And then I got a call.
Why don't you buy? Okay, good. Tell us.
All right. So first,
We're
of all,
listening, Dave.
I had. Yeah. Hey, speaking of that, the new Frasier is starting next week.
And another tangent.
But all right. So a couple weeks ago, I started hearing a thump, and the way I described it to you was right. It started off whenever I would be slowing down, like if you're approaching a red light that suddenly turns green. So you take your foot off the brake and then hit the gas. All of a sudden, I hear thump thump, and it would run fine. Car ran fine. And then I would be like at a stop sign or something, and you know how if you have a space, so you accelerate fast from a stop. All of a sudden, about a week ago, I started hearing that thump thump, and I was worried. It didn't seem like it was anything in the transmission because the car would run fine whenever I was driving it. I would just hear the occasional thump. So I took it into the mechanic and told him. Before I did that, I looked it up on Google, and it said that was most likely a U-joint or a loose motor mount, which is not a big deal.
I feel like a loose motor mount's a pretty big deal.
It's not expensive to fix,
Okay, that's what you mean.
and it's a big deal if you don't get it fixed. It becomes a big deal.
Right.
Yeah. So I brought it in the mechanic, and I told the mechanic said, sounds like it's a loose motor mount joint right away. And he goes, so that's not a big deal. So then he calls me yesterday. He goes, listen, I got some bad news. He goes, I got to do some more tests on this thing, but for some reason it's not switching into 4-wheel drive. I said, it's always on 4-wheel drive. And he said, yeah, but it's not. It's only running 2-wheel drive. It might be your transfer case.
Why would you have a transfer case if it's always on 4-wheel drive? Is it permanently 4-wheel drive, or you just choose to ride in 4-wheel
No,
drive?
it's permanently 4-wheel drive.
Why?
But there is still a transfer. I looked it up because that's the first thing I thought. Was wait a minute. It's the car. It's a 2000 Jeep Commander, an always on 4-wheel drive, and so I looked it up, and there is a transfer case, and there have been problems, and. And he goes, if it is a transfer, he goes, I got to check to make sure. I got to do some more tests. If it is, I'll call you. It'd probably be a lot cheaper to try to find one used, and I'll have to look around. So I looked it up. Now, when I looked it up, it tells me, I think it tells me what the cost is for new. And it's $2,000 to $8,000 to repair it.
Yeah.
All right, so I have almost 200,000 miles on this truck. I love this truck.
Yeah. But
But
it's like an old dog.
you have to, at some point, right, start thinking, okay, risk return, risk reward.
You need to put it down.
How much money do I keep putting into this car before?
You need to take that Jeep out to a lovely field and let it drive around one last time, and then put a bullet in its engine. All right.
But here's the thing. So I was telling this to my wife yesterday. I'm like, all right, at what point do we? Now, we always knew we were going to get a new car, but our plan was to get a new car next year when we sold the house, and we were hoping to pay cash and not have payments. So, how much do we willing to spend to keep this going for another year? Or so I was like, telling him, if he calls up and says it's $2,000, we're trying to figure out what is the cutoff point.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So
$2,000's not terrible.
If it's $2,000, let's say you got a good deal on a car, I figured your $250 would be your car payment. I hope. If we put a down payment, that's the hell.
Shit, we're under attack.
This is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System.
Lupin, they found you.
There is no emergency. The emergency.
you.
Do not head to your storm shelters at this moment.
That was fun.
Everybody's phone in the fucking place
Yeah.
went up.
Whose was first?
I think mine was.
Yeah. So what do you win?
You have to ask who's the last one to turn it off. There's
Yeah, there you go. That guy was interesting.
All right.
Buy a fucking Toyota.
So the way I look, no, I'm not buying a Toyota.
Why?
Because I like Jeeps. I've had.
Look, let me tell you
I've
something.
had Jeeps.
Let me tell you something. Everybody I know who owns a Jeep spends an incredible amount of. It's like owning a Rolls Royce. You have to spend so much money fixing it all the time. What's the fucking point? Do you know how? Do you know
I
how
have been very lucky with cars.
Okay, no, you haven't. I have known you for a long time now, and you're lying.
No, I'm not.
You have been terribly unlucky with cars. Your cars are always in the shop.
Not my car. And when it is, it's usually something that's easy to fix. I haven't had
Right.
the last time I had a big, really huge car thing was I did have a Jeep Grand Cherokee that the drive chain went out, but it was still under warranty, and so it didn't cost me anything.
Do you know how much money I've spent on my wife's Toyota and my Toyota and the Toyota we had previously and the Toyota we had previously combined in major repairs?
How much?
Maybe $1,000.
All right. But here's the thing.
Do you know what we do to take care of them? Absolutely fucking nothing.
Here's the thing. It costs more. They cost more.
Yeah, because they're good. That's the point. You spend a little more money on a car that's built well, and then you don't have to fucking worry about it. I don't even change the oil, Dave.
I'm telling you, I love my Jeep. If I could get this thing going to 250,000 miles, that's the other thing. All right, so you have to figure out how much. We had to figure out how much is our cutoff. So $2,000 at $250 a month is what? 8
You're
months?
asking me to do math?
8 months.
I'm
Of,
gonna need to call somebody in.
8 months of car payments. So if we can, I mean, do you start asking yourself, if we can get it going for another 12 months by spending $2,000, is it worth the cost? Because I mean, I love my Jeep. It's very comfortable. I haven't had many problems with it.
Why don't you go to a junkyard and just rip out what is it again? Your
Drive a transfer case. Yeah,
a
that's
transfer case from a junkyard.
that's what he would do.
Because I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of Jeeps in a junkyard, so you won't have a hard time finding any. You know what you won't find in a junkyard?
There's another one.
Toyotas.
So I don't know. We're trying to figure out what to do. But I also started looking for another car. I found one I like,
Uh-oh.
but it's
Get an FJ, dude.
no, it's a
God damn, they're
It's a
great.
Jeep Gladiator.
Okay.
A Jeep Gladiator with
It says, "Are you not entertained?" on the back, right?
Jeep Gladiator with one of those push bars on the front, and it's got a light bar on the top.
Does it
and
have a
light
winch?
bar on the push bar.
Does it have a
It's
winch?
got a winch.
All right,
yeah.
that's important
and well,
because I've seen your driveway.
yeah, no shit, right?
You might need it.
But because the thing about it would be great to
Hang on a
drive down the hills in Tennessee.
Finally. By this time, we'd all be dead. So a little bit late there.
So, but it was interesting. So this is the first time since we bought the house in Tennessee that I've applied for a loan. And it's the first time I've ever applied for a loan by going to my bank app and just filling out the form, because I just wanted to see if we would have a problem if we wanted to buy a car. And it's weird. Have you ever filled out a loan
No,
application?
you know
online?
that's going to go in your credit report. Just
They
asking.
said that.
Yeah.
They said that, and I'm like, well, that's why I never did it before.
But you're a cop, Dave. Don't you guys have a secret fund you can just dip into anytime you want to?
I wish, man. But what was
Go out and
interesting
shake
is
down some drug dealers, man.
I filled out the form, and then it tells me, okay, if you go past this point, we're going to pull your credit, just so you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting pre-qualified. And it was within like 2 minutes, I got the message back saying, yeah, you're pre-qualified up to this amount. Here's your rate. I'm like, whoa. And so I didn't do anything else after that because I don't want them sending me a
But
check.
you're approved, right?
I'm approved. So she
Fuck
just
it, why
called
not
me.
send you a check? You didn't have it sitting around.
She just called me and she goes, have you bought the car yet, or are you just looking? I go, no, we're preparing the luck. And so it was.
Damn it! If you don't
She's
get a
like,
Toyota, I'm going to be so mad at you.
if I get anything, I'm gonna get that
Another Jeep.
Gladiator. I have to take it for a test drive, though. You
My
wanna go-
friend in Alabama.
We should take it for a test drive.
We should take it for a test
Let's go
drive.
take it for a test drive.
Yeah, like on some. Let's go four wheeling. Let's bring it back,
totally
muddy as
muddy.
hell, like dented a little bit. That'd be great. Where did you take it? Just
To the park,
Skokie.
golf course. By the way, they might be calling.
That's cool. No, but you got to put them on speaker if they do.
No,
right.
I meant the golf. You take it back. Would you go to a golf course? They might be calling, by the way.
We gave him your name. That reminds me of my wife. Our favorite illegal hobby. It's semi-illegal. It's more like it's not illegal.
It's frowned upon.
It's frowned upon. But we like to go to golf courses and rent a golf cart, but not play golf. We just like to drive around and fuck around and
You can
drink.
do that.
Yeah. What are they going to say? No. You go in the shop where they rent the golf
Don't
carts.
you have to pay for a round of golf, though?
They never ask. I just go in and go, yeah, I need a cart. He's like, cool, give me your license. I'm like, here, $15, I got a cart. And then we just go out and we drive around. We go by the guy that, what is he called, a marshal or something? Right past him. He's always like, some 19-year-old kid. He's like, hey. And I'm like, eh. And we just drive around the golf course and find a drink cart, follow it around, get hammered.
Did I tell you about? I went golfing at over here on Peterson, and they have the stand-up scooter golf carts.
Say what?
All right, so
Segways? Like,
well, no, they look like oversized scooters. So they look like a surfboard on wheels. So the front and the back have two wheels, but they're
Why?
closely together. It's I don't know. I guess it's because it's fun. So it has a spot you put your bag on the front, and then you have to stand up the whole time, and you can still ride around.
that defeats the whole purpose of a golf cart.
And you have to lean into the turns. And so I go, oh, that's pretty cool.
Did you rent one?
Yeah. And I go, that's pretty cool. I go, how much is that? I want to try that. You got one of those available? And the guy goes, have you ever ridden one of these? I go, no.
Wow. You mean like he looked at you and sized you
Yeah.
up and said, nah, not you, buddy.
And he's like, he said, they're harder than they look to ride. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up. Just give me the damn thing.
Was
So
it?
he brings it out, and he showed me the controls. And he goes, you sure about this? I said, will you stop? It's fine. So I get on the thing, and I hit the start button, and I went 4 feet and fell on my ass.
Did he look at you? Did he slow clap?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, man.
And so then I was like, after that, I had to figure out how to do it. So I
you
did.
can't go back.
No. So I went ahead and did it, and after you get the hang of it, it's pretty fun. Going up and down hills gets to be a little weird because you can't turn the wheel. You have to lean,
Yeah,
and then the
that's a
wheels
big no
turn.
from me.
Yeah,
It's a big
and so
no.
it gets to be. So I used it the last couple of times. It is a lot of fun, but
Are there still golf courses where you walk?
oh yeah, most of the time I walk.
Okay.
The ones around here, the 9-hole courses are walk.
Yeah.
Most 18-hole courses you have to take a cart,
Colin and I,
except the professionals.
we're thinking about taking
High
up
school
golf.
kids can walk, but they won't let guys our age or size walk. because they'll tell you got to be able to do the run.
Takes too long.
It takes too long. You
I
can't
mean, my
be holding
stride is
people
like
up.
4.5 inches, so it took me 2 years to go hold a hole.
Usually, the only time I play 18 holes anymore is when I go to a golf outing, and those you're required to have you have to, card comes with it. But anyway, so I had some other topics. Unless
Well,
do you have time?
I watched The Monument Men today.
Oh,
Finally, I'd never watched it before.
Is this the movie or the
movie.
documentary?
No, the movie.
All right.
I haven't seen the documentary. I assume it's better because how could it not be? And it just struck me as that is a perfect example of a movie that does it wrong. So you've seen it, right?
I have, yes.
With George Clooney and the gang.
John Goodman. and-
Yeah. Their problem was they tried to tell the whole story. Right?
Well, and they try to be funny.
Being funny is no big deal. They weren't, but
I mean, it's hard to make Nazis war criminals funny.
I mean, it's a little tough, yeah. But what they should have done was they should have picked one piece of art and told the story of them trying to get that one piece of art, and then they would have been able to tell the whole story through that one episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead, they tried to tell everything, and it was all over the place, and it was really boring, and I was very disappointed. And gee, I guess that's everything.
Well, I saw
That's my whole review.
I
Thank
saw
you.
it
Come
when it
again next
first
week.
came out. And yeah, and I'm a big fan of World War II movies, and yeah, I didn't like it. I thought it was silly, and it was because I mean you realize monuments that was all real. Those people
Yeah,
were all
yeah.
real, and it was a very interesting topic during a very serious time, and they tried to make a silly movie out of it.
They tried to do it. They tried to do a Ocean's 11 type of thing,
Right, exactly.
Which what I think
They tried to do a men looking at goats, George
was a-
Clooney performance.
that was a funny movie
It was, but they
and a
thought
true
they-
story.
No,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I
Look it
did
up.
not
Men
know
staring
that.
at goats is a true story.
I didn't know that. But
Yeah.
they tried to make, especially George Clooney's character, but all of them really, because that is a really a dumb topic, and if it's true, those were very dumb people that they tried to make look more serious, which added to the comedy element of it. And I thought that movie, even though when I first saw it, I was like, this is going to be an idiotic movie, was very funny. And this, they tried to do the opposite. They tried to take an interesting topic and a serious time and make it silly. And
They should have gone one way or the other because they tried to do both.
yeah,
They tried to be very serious and moving and very funny. And you know what? They shouldn't have done that.
no, they shouldn't
They
have.
should have picked one. And yeah,
I forgot what I was. Oh, I was doing my.
I have been since the last time we talked, I have been both back on the horse, so to speak.
You actually went on a horse?
No, working.
Oh.
And I've gotten a lot of work done, but at the same time, I have also because I don't have any actual deadlines from clients or anything anymore.
Yeah.
I am binge watching a lot of television. like I realized yesterday, it was 2 a.m. and I finished up like this British detective thing, right? And I'm like, holy fuck! I just spent the whole day watching this. Like I watched it, started in the afternoon and I finished at 2 a.m. I watched the entire thing, and I'm like, that's a poor use of my time right there. I think this is our show theoretically is about guys our age and what we do with our time now that we have so much of it. And I think there's a real good chance that that's a thing a lot of guys do, is they just end up watching TV forever.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, how many dudes die
I
in
find
front
myself,
of the TV?
I find myself doing it, but I after a couple hours, I start going, all right, I should not be. I've been doing this too long. Lately I've been on this thing where I've been rewatching NCIS again. I don't know why.
Is it because that dude died?
And even that, yeah, actually that is why. That is why, because David.
Was he the sunglasses guy? Oh no, that's a different show, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
What's his name? David McAllister? Something like that. McAllen?
Yeah, McAllen. I got sucked into a bunch of into all these British detective shows, and they're really good, man. They're really so good. I started with Endeavour, and I watched 9 seasons of Endeavour. All right, and then the end really pissed me off. Like I was like, I don't usually get invested in a TV show, and I was like, this is pretty good. But at the end, I was like, spoilers, but it's hard to tell if the lead detective in the story killed himself at the end or not. It's ambiguous, and I'm not happy about that because I'm like, I think he did, but then I look up online because I'm a nerd and I do that, and everyone's like, no, he didn't. And I'm like, I think that was a dream sequence, buddy, and I was really pissed off by that. But I got sucked into all these things. You know what? I gotta quit, man. I gotta. You know what I gotta do? I gotta come here and work because at least the only thing I'm addicted to here is a cigar. But Jesus Christ, at home I'm just on the TV the whole time.
Yeah.
You know. I don't know how many guys, when they retire, and I'm not retired, but I live like a retired person, all right? And I don't know how many guys just lose the thread of, like, purpose when they get retired. Like, they just, like, diffuse out. Like, they have no purpose, you know?
Well, I'm not very worried about it. Like, I had plans for retired and started to do stuff, some of which I have not done. Like, I haven't done any photography, which I plan to do.
Yeah.
And some of which I wanted to do more of, like writing, which I have, but usually I end up either doing the stuff I have to do for the restaurant reviews, and then that's it. I go off to do something else. The only thing I have been doing regularly is I've been doing the work in the yard that I want to do. I've been doing woodworking, but I've been screwing up a lot of stuff, which...
That's how you learn, though.
Yeah, I keep telling myself that screwing something up is not...
You need to go on my Facebook feed. I'll try to introduce you guys and look for a guy named Spencer Hammond. All right, he runs he's a professional woodworker. He's actually a luthier, and he runs a shop in Kenosha, or somewhere near Kenosha. And he has every single piece of equipment in his shop was made in like 1911. Like he runs all this in crazy, like antiquated wood. You would freaking love it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your kind of thing.
So, but I could see how you could lose a thread. There are times like yesterday was a perfect example. I had some things to do. Actually, went out to this bakery right down here, Needs and Wants, and Annie and I went out for coffee when she was on her way to work. And I told her, I said our toaster oven broke. It didn't break, but it wasn't. It's old and it was not making good toast. So I said, I'm gonna go get a toaster oven. So her thing was, I said, you know what? If I'm gonna buy one, I'm gonna get one of those ones that does air frying too. You know, I'm gonna go to Best Buy. She goes, don't get one of those huge things that's gonna take up the counter space, because this is one of those things we can't put away like we can put away.
You did though, didn't you?
So I got this thing. It's the same. It's actually not as tall as our old toaster oven. It's very low. You can put a pizza in there. It's got an air fryer basket and stuff, but it's only about 5-6 inches tall. But it takes up most of the counter space. So she comes home. She's like, "Look at this. Now we have even less counter space. Look at it. It takes up." And I go, "No," because I bought the Ninja thing. I said, "Watch this." And so it stands up on it. It's got a thing on the back that rotates, so you stand it up against the wall. And I said, and look here, there's a button here. You click this for easy cleaning. Easy cleaning. That'll really press the shit out of my way.
Those words that get you in the sack. Man.
So,
have you used the air fryer thing yet?
I did last night. Yeah.
I can't. We got one, and I cannot figure out how to make it work.
Oh no, I made chicken breast. It came out really good.
Really, I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
There's like YouTube videos and shit.
I'm not gonna watch instructions.
Actually,
what kind of a man am I?
My wife's going out to dinner with friends, so today I'm going to try chicken wings. I haven't made good chicken wings at home in a long time.
I made a. All right, see, and it infects our conversation here too. All right, because we end up just talking about. I mean, our show is us talking about dumb shit, but I'm not going to go into my cooking stuff because that would be really just
okay.
ridiculous, you know?
Well, wait, I did have a topic. Hold on. First of all, pumpkin spice Malort.
There's no such thing.
It just started serving it at their distillery for the month of October.
I don't understand Chicago's fascination with that fucking drink.
I don't know, but I'm gonna try and get a bottle of it so we can bring it to the studio.
I don't understand it. I don't understand. You've had Malort, right?
No.
Okay. So for those of you who haven't had it, like Dave, imagine if a possum ate a skunk and then was hit by a car and was left to dry as roadkill and then was ground up and turned into an alcoholic beverage of some kind that you fed to a horse who peed it out into a bucket. That's what Malort tastes like.
But isn't there, I mean, I think it's geared towards 20-somethings who are, what did we have? We had that Jägermeister.
Yeah, but Jägermeister has it's a little overpowering, but it's also sort of pleasant, right? Malort, there's nothing about it that's good. Nothing. It tastes terrible.
All right.
It tastes terrible, and it does get you kind of drunk, but like I have a dive bar that I love.
Yeah. Rubbing alcohol gets you drunk.
Yes,
so,
yeah. I mean, cologne will get you drunk. There's a bar on Devon Avenue in the middle of an Islamic community. All right, and there's a dive bar. It's been there since 1935. So they're in a community where nobody drinks, and I love this dive bar. It is called Carrie's, and it is fantastic. And they are like the principal Malort place in Chicago. Like they have Malortapalooza there. They serve Malort margaritas. They do Malort. It's crazy. And I go there and the whole bar is drinking Malort, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? It's like self-punishment. It's like flagellation. I don't get it. It's an awful fucking thing. I don't know why somebody said that. We heard someone in the background just admitted that they're crazy, and that's not what our show's about. So,
all right. I got another topic. You used to back in the days when you were a real writer.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
You worked at newspapers, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever? Now we used to have this discussion a lot of times when I would complain about the media, which we don't do much anymore. We should do it more. But
it's no fun now that I'm complaining about them too.
But you made the point over and over again that people who write stories don't write headlines. That editors write headlines.
That used to be true, and in major newspapers, that's probably still true.
I heard somebody talking about it saying it was still true. But anyway, there was a story in Daily Caller. Yeah, Daily Caller, that the headline right away got me, and I'm like, okay, now, I mean, they write headlines to pull people into the story, right?
Yeah,
it's not really to tell you what the story's about. I mean, it is.
You want it to do both.
Yeah. So the headline is, man accidentally shoots his 12-year-old grandson while officiating a wedding.
I saw that headline, and I refused to click on it. I
refused to click on it.
Yeah, it's... First of all, how sad, but beyond that, I mean...
Well, he wasn't killed. So, the guy who was officiating a wedding, should we say his name?
I mean, why not?
Michael Gardner.
Oh, that motherfucker.
I used to have a police officer that was terrible. That was bad. He wanted to gain everybody's attention by firing a Pietta Model 1860 snub-nosed revolver in the air. Oh, that's a beautiful gun.
Couldn't you just shout, hey?
Unfortunately, he fumbled with the firearm while cocking back the hammer, causing it to discharge. The bullet struck his young grandson in the shoulder.
Jesus Christ.
Despite being the gun being loaded with blanks, the force was still sufficient to inflict a serious injury on the child. And the blanks were homemade, filled with black powder, and then
oh my God.
Glue.
Okay, so to everyone listening, whether they're homemade or purchased, blanks are dangerous.
Yes. Wasn't there an actor killed by using a blank?
That Bruce Lee's son
was
killed.
Yeah, Brandon Lee, right?
Brandon Lee was killed. Yeah, another great career cut short. Stupid firearm.
Yeah, because he
stuff.
did that to himself because he thought blanks were not dangerous.
Well, that's the most of the story. The truth is, there was an actual bullet lodged in the barrel, and
Really?
so the blank shot out the actual bullet. It's over here.
I never heard that.
Yeah. So the gun had been fired previously with an actual bullet, and they didn't clear it. And when they put the blank in it, the force shot the actual bullet out. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah. So it was a blank, but it was also an actual bullet. And why do I have that knowledge? You know,
Anyway, I saw that was a headline that caught my attention, and
I still belong to the Alumni Association for the Orlando Sentinel, and they constantly, what they post most of all is stupid headlines. And it's just,
all right, I got another question for you, and I don't know if we should talk about this.
yeah, of course we should.
Buying YouTube views. We
Say
need
that
to-
again?
Buying YouTube views.
What about it?
We need to get our YouTube channel up and running.
I don't
We're
have
not
any
making any
money.
money.
I don't have any money to
It's
use.
actually not that expensive.
Well, I don't have any money at all.
All right,
So-
but here's my question: is it ethical?
Who cares?
'Cause you
Yes,
can-
it's ethical. You know why? It's a
Why?
product and you're advertising it. That's
Yeah.
what it is. You know?
So
But the more important question is it effective? And the answer to that is no, and here's why. If you purchase YouTube views, it's like purchasing Twitter followers. They're not real. And so in the long run, they don't do anything for you because the whole purpose is for them to purchase things or to pay attention to the page, but they don't do that because most of them aren't even real. And the ones that are real, they're just part of a farm. So if you purchase YouTube views, you're gonna get higher views, but they don't click on advertising. And the whole point is to get advertising and have
yeah,
people
but
click.
we're just starting out. Wouldn't that lead to other more organic views? I think the key is like
Maybe.
all right, so how do some of these people? All right,
I think it's
I mean-
smarter to spend money on advertising and advertise a YouTube channel to people that are likely to
but
view
I
it.
don't even know how to do that.
Yeah, it's
Usually
like a
it's-
Facebook advertisement or something. You just advertise your video.
All right, I'll look for that.
Yeah, but hey, I just want to tell you, I'm broke. I don't have a dime for this stuff, man.
No,
Since
that's
I quit
fine.
working, I don't get nothing. I bought that hat. I spent like $8 on it, and I lost it. I'm not buying another hat.
No,
Right.
that's fine. When I was looking at these things, are like $20 to get
Yeah, well, I mean, you get
to
what you
get
pay
2,000
for.
views.
The best thing to do is to go on Fiverr and get somebody who knows what they're doing, and pay them to do it.
Fiber?
Fiverr.
Oh.
And because figuring it all out is like, it's like I don't know about you, but I don't want to learn a lot of new things. All right, I'm a little done with that. I'd rather just hire somebody to do it.
Well,
but
our website's down too. We got to figure out what to do about that.
you just have to point it when we're done here. We'll talk about it, and maybe tonight or tomorrow or something we can.
Because I already
work-
paid for a couple of these websites for the year, so
Yeah, tonight or tomorrow we can go online together, and I'll show you where to point it because it's still up.
oh,
It's just not pointed there anymore because 911 went down.
yeah. So where's it? So where would you point it to? All right, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
We're actually. I mean, we could. I don't have any other topics. If you, we could just end the podcast and sit here and smoke.
I'm always
for
happy to talk about author stuff. You know.
author stuff.
Yeah, I am an author.
Hey, have you ever used WaveMaker?
No, I don't know what that is.
It's an app like Scrivener, but it allows you to work online and offline. It's like a stripped down Scrivener.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I've got Scrivener, so I wouldn't. I don't really look at other apps. Once I got an app that works, I don't care. I don't look at new ones anymore.
You still
'Cause-
use Scrivener? Then?
Yeah, I love Scrivener. I think Scrivener is brilliant.
Well, I was thinking in terms of if we're going to do B Cops Guide 2, the problem is doing with Scrivener, you can't work with it collaboratively.
Yeah, it isn't collaborative. So
With WaveMaker, you can do it collaboratively.
But it's it's not that big of a deal. Like if we both use Scrivener, you can just send me your files and I'll drop them into like one of us can maintain the permanent file, and if you write something, you can send it to me and I can drop it in.
Or we can
and-
keep it in Dropbox.
Yeah, and then we just do the whole thing in Google Sheets, and when we're done, I can drop it in somewhere. And there's no reason to spend money on an app, but if you want to, go ahead.
Well, it's free.
Oh, it's free?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Well, I'm sure it's advertising or something.
Yeah, pass. Pass. I already have enough distractions, man.
All right. Well, what other author stuff do you have?
Well, I have this
What's going on at Whiskey?
All American Whiskey.
Yeah.
Ooh, we're working on sponsorships. I just finished our media kit, and we're up to like 12,000 views a month, and so we're getting really close to where we can make some money. And
We could do some sponsors here. San Pellegrino, the official.
right there, buddy.
water.
So, but we're not going to do advertising. We're following the clue of this amazing online magazine and print magazine called The Bitter Southerner. It's a beautiful, beautiful website and magazine, and they're doing for the South, the contemporary South, what we want to do for whiskey. And they're a very literate magazine. It's a great journalism, featured journalism, and so. But what they do is, you can advertise, you can sponsor a series of stories, and so for like $2,000, all you get is your name at the top. It says sponsored by. That's it. No pictures, no nothing. Sponsored by San Pellegrino, but they get a lot of hits, and so it's worth the money, and that is going to be our model. And so the first thing we're doing is this section called Death by Dive Bar. And what happens is we're going to get real writers to go out to a dive bar and write a love letter to that dive bar and to dive bars in general.
Oh.
And we're working on getting this new whiskey from Milam and Green called Unabridged to sponsor it, because come on, it's unabridged. It's already literary, and we have a good relationship with those guys. But they have a distiller who was the blender of the year this year, Heather Green. She's amazing, and we want to get her to write the first one. And there's already a couple up, but they don't really count. And but that's going to be our first thing. And after that, hopefully we'll get a lot more sponsorships in there.
So you can just Google All American Whiskey and see it?
Yeah. Well, we've only got a couple on the Death by Dive Bar page right
Yeah,
now.
but All American Whiskey. They can.
AllAmericanWhiskey.com. Yeah, it's we don't review whiskey, which is a weird thing, but we're doing pretty good, even though we don't review whiskey, because people that drink our market is not people that never had whiskey before. Our market is people who are already drinking whiskey and aren't. It's kind of like what we do with Jeremiah Creek, right? We're looking at life through the lens of people that are post-retirement age or getting there. All American Whiskey looks at the world through the lens of whiskey, but we don't review whiskey.
Yeah.
We write about the people that make it, and we write about the things that are adjacent to it, and it is working out.
Oh, that's
You know,
good.
it's working out really well. But the author thing that I'm doing is I have a new book sitting there. I haven't published it yet. Fat in Paris. It's just sitting there. It's a travel memoir like Full English was. It's pretty funny. It's gotten good reviews, and the people that have reviewed it so far. I've been trying to think of, how do I sell this book? So when you and I had our book out, what was our best way to sell books?
In person?
In person, every time. For me, the most money I've made was for somebody else, and that was for can't remember his name right now. Mark Greenberg, and he wrote a book about the Civil War in Illinois, and I did an event for him. Remember the Oxford English Dictionary?
Yeah.
I had a photographer, I had all the snacks. It was a good event, right? I made money on that. He sold 25 books. So he not only made money from the event, but he made money from the book sales too, plus 25 books. And I realized that is a ticketed event is the best way to do this. And so I've decided that that's what I'm going to do for Fat in Paris. I'm not going to go to libraries. I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm going to have like a one-man show type of thing. And the tickets include 1 or 2 copies of the book. And so I've got a place to practice it, and then a stage 2 place that's kind of small. And after that, There's a guy who used to put on burlesque shows and stuff in Chicago, and I'm going to get him to book me in different places, or just find a theater and have a permanent show in that theater. It's kind of crazy, but you know what? You can't download a live event,
Yeah.
and AI can't fucking write a live event or do it. And if a place like that, if I get it sponsored by whiskey and wine and have some snacks in there and everything, I can make some money on that.
Yeah, just cross marketing with wine styles or something like that.
Yeah. Get all these wine places in town, all these distilleries in town to sponsor it. Fuck yeah, man. And I know a lot of those guys now, so that's my crazy thing I'm working on.
Well, good luck, man. I'll go. I'll
Your
buy a
tickets will be
ticket.
extra. I remember one time you were at one of our Eat Gets a Price events, and my friend was like, we don't have enough chicken. And I'm like, what do you mean we don't? He goes, we're too short. I'm like, well, what the fuck, man? We counted. And he goes, yeah, I don't know what happened. And he's like, listen, isn't that your friend here? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, you think he'd go without chicken? I'm like, are you fucking, it's his birthday. He's like, yeah, I shouldn't have asked. I'm like, yeah, no, you shouldn't have asked. I'm like, I can't believe you asked that. I think I may have asked you. Did I?
I would have been fine with it. I don't
Yeah,
remember you
I
asking
would
me.
not. There's no way.
What would you do?
I don't remember what we did. Somebody went without. I think he found a vegetarian or something like that and said, hey, we don't have enough chickens. They're like, hey, I don't care. That was the one where you had to break it with a hammer.
Yeah.
Remember that? Can I get your fire again?
Yeah. All right. So I think that's all we got for this week. I'm gonna switch over to a logo again as we say goodbye. So join us next week. Tell your friends to go look for Jeremiah Creek, and I think we'll also upload this to VCOP's Guide again until we get more subscribers. Oh, hit the subscribe button.